I do. If my husband's watching, he could take a picture of it. He made fun of me for a few days
That's
for wanting
good
to buy
stuff.
that. Yeah.
All right, there's been a lot of talk lately about violence in Omaha, and the conversation many times it leads right back to what can be done about it.
Our next guest believes in mentoring and strengthening families will go a long way.
Dan Goodwin and his wife co-founded Life Connections Omaha. Daniel, good to see you
Nice
again.
to have you
Good
here.
morning.
Yeah, we met a few months back. It's great to see you again. But can you give us some history on this? What inspired you to start this organization?
My wife and I, we're natives of Omaha, attended Omaha Central, but I grew up in North Omaha, she grew up in South Omaha, and it's passion for people. Our unique life experiences exposed us to things that allowed us to thrive, get our educations here as well. And so we want to give back to the community through this organization. Mm-hmm. And it's not just us. We've connected with a group of others who have like passion, and so that's why we've done this.
What is your goal here?
Life Connections is to, hence the name, Life Connections. A lot of times, say if you have a family of doctors and there's that legacy, the father was a doctor, grandfather was a doctor, there's that knowledge on how to become a doctor. Well, in our community, everybody may not be exposed to the information that they need, and so we want to be that connection to those individuals to help them know how do I become, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, a business person, a body shop person. I talked to the guys at Intertech, and so we had some great conversations on some of these things.
Yeah, and just getting kids and youth to believe that they can be some of those things is part of the challenge. And I was reading about your organization, the Global Leadership Group. How did that part and that aspect come about? And
Global Leadership Group is our primary program right now. We're trying to start out with something that we can sustain, so we're starting small. We're out of Omaha North. The principal, Gene Haynes, is tremendous advocate for the community.
For a long time.
Yes, he has been. And so we meet every Wednesday after school with a group of students at 3 o'clock, and they get exposure to all types of business professionals. We're going to have business tours. They've already had, for example, a physician's assistant, as well as a pharmacist, medical cosmetologist. Those people coming to speak with them, but they also talk about some of the issues that are going on in our society. We want to be able to not only sustain the youth, but their families. And so getting them to talk about some of the issues that are out there while at the same time exposing them. How do I get to the next phase? How can I become what I aspire to become?
Everything's still so new, but to date, what have you noticed the students are gaining or learning from those sessions? And here are a few pictures of one of them.
Well, it's very interesting, as you notice in the picture. See, there's a couple of young men. It started out as Global Leadership Girls. My wife being able to have the schedule that allowed her to be there more often than I was at the time. So they started as Global Leadership Girls, and a couple of young men showed up. And she said, well, wow, they want to be here. I'm not going to turn them away. So hence we became Global Leadership Group.
I like that.
And it's global because, as you guys know, we live in a global society. The world is very connected. We have people from all over the world, but we had an etiquette coach come in, and she's a former school principal in OPS. And so the students were very interested in etiquette. I mentioned my conversation with the gentleman at Intertech, and they talked about guys coming in and not knowing how to interview, not making eye contact, not shaking hands, or even a young man who's trying to text under the table while he's interviewing. And so our students need to know those are the kinds of things that you can't do if you want to go to the next level. How do I function in society? How do I become a leader in my family and in my community?
Yeah, that's interesting. I did an interview yesterday, and I think 37% of the younger generation, the millennials, think it's okay to be 5 minutes late to a job interview.
Wow.
So
it
is, yeah, it does jive. But what type of difference have you seen in terms of mentoring? I mean, I know you're a fairly young organization, but have you seen it make a difference so far?
No question. And mentoring is exposure and access to information. If a person doesn't have that information, how are they going to know how to behave and function? But the students have had an opportunity to go to Heartland Hope Mission and volunteer at a Christmas pantry and just share their experiences with other young people or Christmas gifts and those types of things with other young people. So they're talking about it and they're expressing how they feel and they're asking questions.
Yeah.
So definitely there's positive results.
We're almost out of time, Daniel. Give us a quick word about how our viewers can get involved, whether they're professionals who want to meet with the students or they're students who are hungry to learn.
Okay, we have a Facebook page, Global Leadership Group on Facebook, and they can also reach out there or via phone, 402-575-8164. We also do workshops, so if you have a separate group, we'll come in and talk with them about other issues or situations that you want us to talk to your group about.
Thanks, Daniel.
Doing
And give
great
our
work,
best
Daniel.
to LaVonya, please.
Yeah.
Thank you, sure will.
Thanks a lot for
Thank
coming.
you.
June 10th, Imagine Dragons fans have that date. They've got it circled right there on their calendars.
This isn't the band's first show in Omaha. See what brought them to town about 3 years ago. That's next.